Hi everyone, this is a video about our third essay, which is writing to convince. So obviously if we're writing to convince somebody, that means that we're arguing. We're doing a persuasive essay. So this is our chance to try to convince somebody that our side is the right side. But of course we have to be careful, right? We have to think about what does that mean to convince somebody, think again about audience, right? Imagine that you're in the audience while you're also an arguer. I think that really helps to think about, like, well, what would that mean? Like, imagine if you were on stage, right, and you were debating somebody else, but you're also imagining that you're in the audience watching yourself argue. How would that change the way that you argue? Okay, well, let's think about that, right? We know we'd have to make sure we have really strong evidence, right, to support what we're saying. We know that we need to listen to the other side, right? Really pay attention to what the other side says because we're going to need to respond to it. We also would be respectful, right? I mean, even if we think the other person is sounding crazy, we can't say that, right? Because people in the audience might agree with that person. And if our goal is to convince the people in the audience that we're the right one, we can't insult them, right? So be careful with your word choice when you're doing an argument. We want to avoid hyperbole. We want to avoid absolutes. So that means we don't say things like, well, everyone knows that, or anyone who has any, knowledge would know that that's not true, or it's very clear that this is true. Well, no, it's not clear, right? Because if it was clear, then we wouldn't have to have a debate about it, right? So just be careful with your word choice with this essay. So here's the setup. This one, you're not going to quite have as much freedom for topic just because we don't have a ton of time. So I want to get us kind of moving forward and into the essay. So what I've done is gone out to the New York Times and found 5 sets of debates. They have a website called Room for Debate where they just post up topics that are in the news, and then they have people that are experts in the field write short essays about their opinion. So your job is to read through the 5 choices and pick one that interests you. You're going to write an essay where you respond to those 2 letters. Both letters must be in your essay. You might agree with one and disagree with the other. You might agree with part of one and part of the other, and disagree with part of one, disagree with part of the other. It doesn't matter, right? You can pick your opinion. However, you need to respond to both. In your essay, we're going to talk about this later in this week, is you need to include counter arguments, right? We need to listen to the opponent and respond to what they're saying. So you're going to include both sides and then talk about why the side that you agree with is the right one. To help with this, you're also going to need to find one more source. And actually, you could find a couple more if you wanted to, but at least one more source that can add to your knowledge, add to your evidence, add to your support of your argument. So you're going to need to have at least 3 sources, 2 of which I've already given you. I hope that helps kind of looking ahead at the essay. So this week we're going to focus, week 7, we're going to focus a lot on all of the kind of the notes, the behind the scenes of an argument, and talk about like what elements do we need in a good argument. And then you can try and kind of put those in and write your own. So I hope this helps set it up, and I can't wait to read them. Thanks.